Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard the TV Pilot's License with service to Derry. We ask that you please fasten your headphones, secure your podcasting device, and remember today's flight, we will be recognizing the rules of Lady Immaculate College. So there are no male lavatories on this flight, and if you need to go to the bathroom, well, too bad.
Welcome to the TV Pilot's License. My name is Jeff Kurbis, joined by Max Singer and Rich Inman. How you boys doing today?
Oh, not great, Jeff. Only Ryanair flies to Derry. They made me stand the entire time.
Rich, how are you?
I'm excited and rested back from spring break. I drank a lot of beers and I kissed a girl for the first time. I'm killing it.
Rich now has a girlfriend in Ireland. But boys, this week we are going to the land of Derry to speak about Derry Girls.
I thought you meant Wisconsin.
Yeah, I know. It's a little bit of a misdirect. Maybe you call it Londonderry or New Derry. But boys, before we get too deep into talking about this show, Max, do you mind telling folks what this podcast is all about?
Here at TV Pilot's License, we break down and analyze the pilot episodes of some of TV's most famous, or in some cases, infamous shows. We learn a little bit more about how these shows came to be and were originally made, if they're effective pilot episodes and making us want to watch more, and if we think they can be made today. Go back and stream our old episodes from wherever you get podcasts. Check us out on YouTube and TikTok to see our smiling faces. Like, subscribe, follow, do all those cool things across the board on every platform. And if it is your first time flying with us, then welcome aboard.
Hit subscribe, share with your friends, steal your parents' phones, and sign them up illegally. If you look enough like them, that'll unlock their Face ID.
Yeah, that works. Rich, I'm curious, what is your question of the week this week?
Well, I know we're going to get into it in a second, but this pilot starts off real strong with a song from the Cranberries. Right? Am I crazy?
Yeah,
right.
Dreams.
Yes, thank you. I want to know, if you had to pick one song to open a show about your time in high school, what would that song be?
Oh, man, can I go?
Yeah, absolutely.
I've got to go with the official song of millennials plugging in their iPods to their cars, and that is A-Punk by Vampire Weekend.
Oh, the song you've by default heard the most in your life.
It was automatically going to be the first thing that came on, most likely. It was A- in the title, so you knew that thing was playing the second you hooked your phone up. When you were plugging in, your device to your car speakers. I've heard it so many times. That first self-titled Vampire Weekend record that came out in 2008 just feels so iconic to so many high schoolers. And yeah, that's my choice.
I love it.
Rich, I'm going to go with the greatest song by The Killers. And no, it's not Mr. Brightside. It is All These Things That I Have Done from Hot Fuss. I absolutely adore this song. I adore all of the different parts. There are 3 different parts of this song that are so distinct, and I think that it does such a good job of, if I had a show about my high school life, you could break that song up and use it in different parts of the show or for different moments. And that for me is, I think, what high school is all about. It's all about evolving as you go.
Those guys in their early 30s really wrote a great album about high school.
Jeff, how do you feel that your high school choice is now going on a 20th anniversary Vegas residency?
I'd be lying if I said I haven't been looking at tickets. So,
Max, I think Killers in the Sphere is an Agatha Christie novel.
Rich, I'm curious. What about you?
Well, up until this exact moment, I thought I was going to choose Crank That, Soulja Boy.
Oh my god!
And what I realized is that I should go with Buy You a Drink by T-Pain, because I think that T-Pain's music was the precursor to the LimeWire rapper era that we all got so familiar and took over all of our high schools with. So I'm going Buy You a Drink by T-Pain.
Well, I was going to say, Soulja Boy is the definitive LimeWire rapper, because he would upload Crank That to LimeWire and Napster under the names of more successful songs.
He's so smart.
When you would download it, you would get Crank That by Soulja Boy, and you would look it up and you would find this artist that you didn't know.
And then you wouldn't be able to use your computer again.
Yeah, Rich, you're now making me question my song choice because I feel like as the Florida boy of our podcast, I should have chosen Apple Bottom Jeans by Flo Rida.
Okay.
But, you know...
Before everyone gets mad at us on social media, the song is called Low. We are aware it's not called Apple Bottom Jeans.
No. We need the engagement. Cut that out.
Well... Rich, thank you so much.
Write angry things on our posts.
Yeah, just say Jeff is wrong, which you already do on our YouTube videos. So I appreciate it and I embrace it. I'm willing to admit when I'm wrong. But you know, let's talk about a moment where I'm right, which is talking about the synopsis of this show. And let's do so before we dive too deep into Derry Girls. Amidst the political conflict of Northern Ireland in the 1990s, 5 spirited students contend with the universal challenges of being a teenager, which, you know, not the beefiest, not the smallest, but I think it does just enough to let us understand who are these human beings, what is their life like, and yes, there happens to be a gigantic conflict that is happening around their high school lives. But Max, before we dive too much deeper, how did this show get made?
Totally. And just really quick, last time we dove into any sort of UK-based politics was kind of a weird tangent on our Supernatural episode. And I want to give a quick shout out to YouTube user Mint Gray, who gave us a full breakdown of how Scotland's like first minister system works. So Mint Gray, if you're listening to this, you called yourself a frequent flyer from the UK. We super appreciate you. Feel free to fact check us on anything we get wrong today. You are our official UK political correspondent, frequent flyer. We super appreciate you. So today we are talking about the pilot of Derry Girls, episode 1, which originally aired on January 4th, 2018 on Channel 4 in the UK. And we're going to be talking about the show's creator, Lisa McGee, a little bit. So McGee is a screenwriter and playwright, actually born and raised in Derry in North Ireland. She came to prominence as a writer with the Royal National Theatre in London in 2006. One of her plays, Girls and Dolls, won the Stuart Parker Trust Award for Best Irish Debut Play in 2007. That award does acknowledge Irish writers from both the North and the South. As a TV writer, McGee worked on the BAFTA-nominated Being Human for the BBC, the Golden Globe-nominated drama The White Queen for BBC One, those are different things, and is the creator of Raw for RTE and London Irish for Channel 4. London Irish flopped at Channel 4, lasting only a season, but the network asked McGee if she had anything else in the works. She never intended to write about the Troubles, but also longed to see her home of Northern Ireland portrayed as joyful. On a trip back to Derry, she met up with old friends at a pub where they told stories from their school days at Thornhill College, a Catholic grammar school in Derry that is the basis for Our Lady Immaculate College at the show. The show is like sort of a love letter to Derry, with the majority being filmed on location in the city and some in Belfast, and the roles of both Erin and Michelle being filled by Derry natives. And that's going to take us to today's pilot.
Max, thanks. Yeah, I mean, I think it's really special when someone writes about, you know, their hometown or their home life experiences, because there's that nice little extra layer to it of having those, you know, I hate to say like the one-man show, oh, there's a lot of characters in the neighborhood, but like allowing it to be done in a show format and having a person that entirely involved with the show does give it this quaint feeling. And this show starts off very much with that in mind, with our narration scene of it's like.
Honestly, one of my favorite cold opens. The narration starting over pan shots of Derry, dictated by what turns out to be her sister, with and I can't remember the exact line now. I'm sorry, cousin. Yeah. The exact line is escaping me right now, but like everyone's always up in everybody's business, and they pan the camera to her cousin reading her diary to her.
It, like, imagine being awoken. That's like one of the also the most terrifying things. Like, I don't know what y'all's equivalent would be, but like imagine being awoken by like someone just reading the last 100 searches you did on Google. And like it's just like, is the world round? Is the
It's such a fun pulling the rug out from under you with the reveal of it's her cousin reading her stolen dictionary, but it's a dictionary diary. But it's also
we're a real rusty
Mint
after
Gray.
all of 4 days off.
Yeah, Mint Gray. Can you tell us what the difference between a dictionary and a diary are? We'll look forward to that in the YouTube comments.
I heard grammar school. Tell me I'm wrong. But the idea of it's such a stereotypical cold open VO too. It's not. It's done so well, and this show, we'll get to it later, it bookends it really nicely with this idea, but it plays into such a stereotype of how we begin sitcoms and period pieces and what you think it's going to be. I also just love how it sets up the idea of Derry being a character. Like Derry is to this show the way that New York is to Sex and the City. Like it is that joke. Derry is another one of the girls.
The way that Cincinnati is to John from Cincinnati.
A place they do not go in that show.
Cincinnati, the 13th disciple.
God damn it.
I love these opening scenes though of this show because like I'll first give credit to just some of the actresses that we first meet, like Louisa Harland as Orla, just like reading, but like somehow reading these words as if they are her own, just to find out as us, the audience, that Erin Quinn, played by Saoirse-Monica Jackson, is just so fantastic as the teenager, like the teenager that feels like there is no privacy in this small town. And we come to meet every single human being in their family that seems to matter and really start to, even though she is our lead character, a character that we're following their perspective, you start to get that almost claustrophobic feeling of, oh, wow, this is life surrounded by everyone in your family in a house, and I am anxious, but I am also laughing hysterically.
I think what Derry Girls does so well in its first 5 minutes is that it really clearly establishes that this is a show about family and community. This is a show about life in a small town. This is about growing up in a difficult time, but also in a small town. And it kind of says, like, you don't need to understand the context of the period piece to understand what this show is about. There's a lot of stuff happening in the background, but at the foreground, we get these crazy relations between mothers and daughters and, fathers and daughters and extended families and things like that. We throw in one of my favorite topical jokes we've done on this show, which is the entire riff on Macaulay Culkin, which is just so goddamn funny.
So fucking funny. Like I think that one of the things that's so special about this show is, even though it is a period piece set towards the end of the Troubles, right? And we understand that there are bombing threats in Northern Ireland. Like there is this conflict that is going on. It's very much happening all in the periphery of us. Like we know it's there, but we're not focusing on it. Like, yeah, in our first scene, we talk about, the girls can't go directly to school today because there's a bomb. And then Aunt Sarah makes the joke about, I don't know about y'all, but I am not enjoying the bomb, which is just like such a great...
The writing for the show, it felt very reminiscent. It felt like a Northern Irish Freaks and Geeks, where there's there's weird characters saying weird things back and forth to each other, not normally intended as a joke, but like it just like expertly written in there.
Well, I was going to say, it's just the idea of there is a political crisis looming in the background that has gone on for decades and decades and decades, that has caused harm and destruction and chaos, but also Sarah can't get her spray tan that day, and that's the biggest inconvenience in her world. How do these things affect the day-to-day life in a comical lens? Like, how do we find a way to turn that into a joke, like the mundanity of it? And they do such a good job in this show of finding those moments.
let's move a little bit forward because we do meet the rest of our cast, but we give them each their moment to better understand each character, if that makes sense. Because first, we meet our current queen, Nicola Coughlan, who is playing the role of Claire, and we come to find out that Claire is maybe the altruistic one, the one of our girls that really believes in herself as doing the most good for the community, no matter what, even if it is at harm in herself. And I I love how Nicola Coughlan plays this role because for me it is all about how she uses her facial expressions, how she uses her change of like she gets to a pitch that I did not even know existed for voices for mankind. And but it's all great because no one in this cast is really age appropriate. We're really pulling a Glee right now with how old
really?
everyone. Oh yeah, with how old everyone
looks,
is.
Super, super young. Everyone looks age appropriate. They did a really great job casting.
But I think that that's also partially due to the acting, right? Because like seeing them in was it Willie's Sweet Shop or something like that, and then them doing the pick and mix.
Dennis's Wee Shop.
Dennis's Wee Shop, yeah.
Dennis's Wee Shop, yeah. Man, I look forward to the comment and the YouTube video. Look,
someone's gonna make like an I love the '90s style video or like an MTV pop up video of all the things we get wrong in this.
Oh my god! But like, I love having Claire's character having their thing. What is their mission? And in this instance, they are hunger striking for their friend in Ethiopia who does not have access to water. And it brings such great comedy to the role, but also tells us everything we need to know about this character. What were you guys thinking?
A timelessness. There's like a timelessness to Claire's mission, which it isn't a good thing, but the idea that, our generation, we had the Livestrong bracelets and the Bono red tees. The generation before this had Live Aid and things like that. They even make a joke about Claire's hunger strike and mission statement as like, "Thanks a lot, Bob." I assume that's a Bob Geldof reference who helped plan Live Aid. There is a timelessness to these endeavors and crusades of these characters. Jeff, you mentioned that high-pitched frequency that Nicola Coughlan could get to in this. I just love the rhythm of these characters talking. Like as we meet the girls and see their dynamic together, there's such like a movement and like a musicality to the way they talk,
so
from quick asides.
Very punchy.
It's super punchy. There's quick asides and quick retorts, and they edit that so sharply, but it's always moving. It's always going from different directions. People never speak at the same pitch for too long, and it really grabs you as an audience member of you have to follow it, but in a fun way. Like it's going to keep you on your toes. It's going to keep pushing along.
The rhythm that I found a little bit with these scenes of just the girls talking, it's not so much with the parents involved or the teaching staff or anything like that. It honestly kind of feels like an improv scene in the sense that like they are clinging on to every new piece of information, like life and death, like talking to Dennis, talking to people on the bus, things like that. They're all following each other's lead like to a T. And I don't know, just like it felt like I was watching really good improv with how they were talking.
Just a couple other things, right? The music for the show overall is fantastic. Like of things that I love about this show, like every song is very, very intentional, and it is period piece. Although I have a bone to pick with Netflix, they said that it was the Black Eyed Peas.
Damn it! Oh.
Wait, what was it?
No, I mean we're here now. So they talk about when we first meet Michelle, and she talks about she never says it, but her new favorite movie of Pulp Fiction, the movie with the motherfuckers and the guys eating cheeseburgers, classic American cinema. That's how I'll describe it from now on too. And they cut from her talking about that to there's a needle drop of Monsieur Lou by Dick Dale, the surf rock song from Pulp Fiction. But okay, so Jeff got this too. If you watch it with subtitles on Netflix, it says Pump It by Black Eyed Peas plays in the background.
Yeah, wait, I didn't. Oh, no. But that's how Pump It starts. It's a sample of Miserlou.
Miserlou also has the like ahs.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Wait, so, all right. So in the BBC version, is it Miserlou? Or is it, or
yes,
did
it's
they
100%.
specifically do the...
It's 100% the Dick Dale song. It's just so funny that, like, whoever had to write the subtitles or whoever, whatever the AI was, put that as the Black Eyed Peas. That was going to be my wait a minute moment. I'm so glad you brought it up.
Well, now we don't even have to do it.
All right,
no
good
more
night,
wait a minute
everyone.
moments. All right, bye, everyone. Yeah.
Like and subscribe.
Max, you sort of brought up the character of Michelle because we have two more main girls, we will call them, because we have Michelle and then we have Michelle's cousin, James, who is James is a little off because he's an English boy who is now being forced to go to Lady Immaculate, which is one of the funniest, just what a great just dumb joke to throw in the beginning and just be like, yep, we're going to accept this. We're going to put it out there. We're going to make the laughs about it now. And then we're never going to talk about it again.
I am sure that James is a character that we will learn more about and will have his own arcs and depth as this show goes on. But I love that in the pilot, he's just used for gag runners. There's like 3 references to he can't go to the boys' school because they would beat him up for being, English. And then just while we're on this topic, there is a reoccurring joke that they continue to hit about how there is no men's restroom in the girls' grammar school, and no one will let James go to the bathroom. It's such a funny joke. They hit it from so many angles. It comes from so many different like levels of authority to him as well. And the fact that they just continue to hit these gags on this new student, this new character, this person who is like, why is today different for them, is so well done.
Yeah, I think that having James involved is a nice, like, it could very much just be about these 4 girls, but then bringing James in, like, hopefully for the future of this show, if we just think about it as the pilot, like, we do get that character depth, but we get a couple of different perspectives, like learning about, hey, his mom left Ireland to go and get an abortion, and then that joke was insane.
Ooh.
Like, that was talking about one of the like funniest, but also one of the holy shit, you wrote that down and said, yep, we're putting that in.
That one scene has 3 of my favorite lines in it. The abortion one, yes. Well, I'm not being an individual on my own line was just such a great, like, that really hit me. And then here's a lighter. I don't smoke. I just like melting stuff.
Yes.
Also, like...
But those are also all lines that tell you so much about those characters that, like, Claire has to be a part of the group mentality, that Michelle is going to be like the kind of brasher in your face one, that Orla has this like, odd sensibility about her. Like, we learn so much. I don't have a better way to put that. I'll be real. That they have these intricacies that they do such a great job of explaining in one line, kind of overarching that too. I love the debate over no one knows how far a mile is when Claire is saying how far the boy in Ethiopia has to walk to get well water, so they can only use points in like North Ireland near them.
And it's like here to other towns.
I want, with all of those jokes, they do such a good job in this pilot of having contrast with the idea of the character of Sister Michael. Sister Michael coming in and just having the driest jokes, like, in the entire pilot is amazing. Like, the entire
straight talking nihilistic nun. Love it.
Yeah. Where like we get this entire like the presentation from those 2 students of like, oh, you're a growing flower when you come to our school, and then like she just comes in and she's like, that's nice, it's all a fairy tale. And then, like, she references James and says, I don't want another Mr. Mullen affair. The idea that this show jokes about sexual assault and somehow gets away with it by putting a nice little bow on top of, like, James, don't worry, you're too ugly in comparison to Mr. Mullen is
Oh God.
bonkers, but it's such a great way of just being like, yeah, this school, even though it's run by nuns in the Catholic Church, is a little bit fucked. And, like, we gotta be okay with that.
How many, because Lisa McGee has said that she wrote a lot of these jokes and stories based on her own experiences at grammar school, and like that she is basically like Erin is a like avatar for her, that Erin's father is her father, that a lot of the school experiences are based on school experiences. Like, do you just, I don't know, put that story away for a rainy day, and like 20 some odd years later be like, this will be a great joke in my pilot for Channel 4?
Oh boy.
That is a great question.
I do want to know if in her real experience that if they actually had to bring one boy to an all-girl school.
Yeah, the entire time I was watching this, I was like, I wanted to know that after like watching it, every single one of these jokes, like which of these are McGee's experiences, which of these are just jokes written for the show to support the story and support the characters. And it's like, I don't know, you start wondering like how much of yourself are you putting into this. And it's clear though, whatever that line is, it's a lot. Like, this definitely feels like a love letter. It does feel like there's such earnestness, and I think it does capture that joy of North Ireland that she wanted to make, that wasn't just like an IRA period piece like so much of that country's portrayed as.
Yeah.
I think that one of the things that makes this show so great is the idea of the chaoticness of our main cast, and how in a single moment in time we can go from like, oh, this seems like a fairly normal like grade school, right, to a like, holy shit, what is happening right now in front of us? Like, and we get 3 great examples of those back to back to back, which is insane. Because like for a lot of shows that we talk about, like we only get really one moment where like, holy shit, can you imagine that? But we get the first time we go to Sister Michael's office, we have a moment where we all go to detention and just hell breaks loose, and then we get another moment in Sister Michael's office, to like a nice little Sister Michael sandwich. And I guess from your guys' perspective, when you're watching this Sister Declan scene, because I want to focus on this a little bit, what were your mindsets of this being like because our why are we here? Yes, it's the first day, but we have this idea of like, oh, we want to go to this concert later. And that's sort of like our other, like, sort of like in the, like on the boundaries of like what we're trying to do today. But like this detention scene is insane. And like, I think I could write a thesis about this entire scene.
This whole scene felt like, specifically for me, it felt like a love letter to Fawlty Towers. Because a nun dying without everyone else in the room realizing it, and then only another nun coming to retrieve her, is like, that would have been in almost every episode. Any episode of Fawlty Towers, they could have added that in, and it would have been absolutely hilarious. But like, it's the chaos of this scene is just written to perfection.
I think this is the heightened version of the scene from the beginning with Aunt Sarah, where it's like the worst thing in her day is that she's going to be late for her spray tan. It's just a series of small, personal, minute things with like a big thing happening in the backdrop that we don't see, and like how it affects their days. And they all come to a head at the same time. It's Erin needs to get out of detention because the boy that she has a crush on is playing a gig that night. It's not a show, it's a gig. Get it right. It's that Claire has been on this hunger strike, and she's so hungry, and she just needs to eat something or she's going to go insane. It's that James has not been able to pee all day, and he's just losing his mind sitting in detention hall. And all of these small personal conflicts, all these things that just feel like drops of water in the big picture, are the biggest thing in their world. And that is also how teenagers are. That is what being a teenager is all about. It is about the strife and conflict happening behind you means nothing because the boy you like is playing a concert, and if you're not there, your world will end.
Yep. Yeah, that's such a good point.
Couldn't be
I don't
said
think
better,
I've ever
Max.
watched a show that was like lighthearted that takes place in an area with active military occupation. I don't think I've ever seen that before. Like, it's something I would like to see in different areas, because I think we
Mhm.
really, turn away from war zones and like ignore that type of thing happening in general. Like, it honestly, to exactly your point, Max, like it's cool to see a goofy and very relatable high school story taking place around this. It is like, it just feels kind of nice to see that.
And they don't back away from those things either. We see the armored cars, we see soldiers with, you know, military weaponry get onto their school bus. We talk about the Catholic Church and abortion. They don't shy away from what's happening around them. And it is like a grounding reminder, but they're also still teenagers and they're still teenage girls. And the issues of teenage girls in that moment in time matter a whole heck of a lot more than what's going on outside of those school walls.
Yeah.
And I think, like, on the other side of this, I think what is such a tastefully done thing is we've seen what Erin and Orla's home life is like, how they were developed and raised. But to get that nice little end scene of seeing how our other characters, how were they made, right? Like, why are
Yeah.
they the way that they are in
Mhm.
Sister Michael's office, while also getting just some zingers from Sister Michael, like here and there, of like, oh well, she was 98, but I don't think that's why she died, is just
Insane. Also, parents not listening to kids at Catholic school is just like, oh, such a specific experience for anyone who's been to Catholic school. That's like, man, to never trust anything your kids are saying going to a religious school is like, definitely felt right.
But like, that really is this pilot. We've been talking for
It's
about,
snappy, it's quick, it's sharp.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's very, very fast, and it ends, and it is nice and succinct. But I'm curious, we talked a lot about this pilot. Were there any things that you loved about this pilot that maybe we didn't discuss that you want to give a little bit more shine?
For me, it's that we bookend the ending of it with the exact same way that we begin the pilot.
Yeah,
It is
100%.
a dramatic VO that is such a stereotypical pilot outro VO. It's this motivational speech about how I'm going to be okay and I am not where I'm from and so on and so forth. And then we cut to it's
It's from the
just
diary again.
it's Orla reading from the diary again, and
Yeah.
it's so smart and it's so snappy. And I just love that both of the VO monologues and the two times we use it are for jokes, but they're also just such stereotypes of this trope that we've seen in so many pilots, these VO intro and outro monologues. And Derry Girls also manages to sneak in riffing on TV tropes in here amongst everything else that we've said it does in 23 minutes. It also manages to parody stereotypes of television.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
they do an expert. It's definitely a pilot masterclass in that way.
Rich, I'm curious, what are some
Um,
things that you loved about this that maybe we didn't discuss in depth?
we have talked about every single bullet pointed things I love or thing I loved from this show, except for one, which is the B-roll of Northern Ireland, and they made this look absolutely fucking stunning. Like the drone shots of the city, the like just everything they capture from that area. And I know what I really love is, I guess, to just look at Northern Ireland, which I guess is cool. But I realize this more goes out to Northern Ireland than it does to. But like the drone shots are beautiful, and I'm just like, I'm like super into just like the picturesque nature of where they are.
Yeah, and for myself, to no surprise of anyone who is listening to this podcast right now, I have watched a lot of this show, and I think that this pilot does such a great job of developing characters and knowing instantly who they are based off of the first couple of lines of what they've said, right? Like, there's many shows that we say like, oh, we don't
Yeah.
really know that character until we're 3 to 4 episodes in. This, I know who Grandpa Joe is. Like, I know Grandpa Joe. I know a lot of Grandpa Joes in my life. Like, and I know both of Erin's parents, and I've met a lot of those couples.
You know, Charlie Bucket's Grandpa Joe.
But I think that is just a credit to the writing that we've been discussing and that we've been praising a ton. Now, as far as wait a minute moments, I'm genuinely curious. Do either of you two have wait a minute moments or things that caused you pause?
All of mine were Dick Dale surf rock related. We covered it already.
Every single episode, you can't stop bringing up surf rock. I personally don't have any wait a minute moments for this. I think it's super clean. I think it's fascinating that the what is different about today is a boy going to an all-girls school for the first time. That seemed a little bit unbelievable for me, but it just like incredible joke fodder.
And for myself, I will say I got a little bit triggered by that in-school presentation by Jenny and her partner with the flower. I have experienced one too many of those, and I think that might have set me off a little bit of like, oh no, please make it stop, please make it stop, please make it stop for the love of God. But you know, that might also be a credit to the writing of this show. We do have an in-flight question. If you want to submit an in-flight question, you can give us a call at 213-290-1713, or you can also shoot us a message on Instagram. We like to post those and post the lookouts for those based off of the shows we're doing. But this week's in-flight question, where's the weirdest place you've peed? Excuse me, no, that's the wrong one. Our in-flight
so there was
question.
one night that Rich and I drank a whole bunch of beers at the Surly Goat.
So in a little bit more seriousness, our in-flight question is, Derry Girls spoke to the high school experience during the Troubles. If there was a TV show to be made about your high school or just any of your schooling experiences, what would be the event happening on the peripherals of it? So I tried to make this as wide of a question as you would like it to be, because it could be something a little bit less serious if you would like it to be as well.
I feel like the asker of this question wants us to say something very specific that we're all thinking of at the same time.
Yeah,
so at the same time, we're going to say it. 3, 2, 1.
9/11.
No, I'm not going with that. The person who asked that question, you're not getting what you wanted. I am personally going with our country electing its first non-white person as president. That happened my junior year of high school, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was just like kind of a pretty formative thing of us growing up like pretty nihilistic toward the government because of how they all kind of handled the Iraq war and everything, and all of a sudden, hey, we got this cool guy who's going to come help fix the what's it called, the 2008 financial crisis. No, the financial crisis. Yeah, they big shorted at my high school. You know what I mean?
Max, I'm curious, what are you thinking?
I mean, I grew up in suburban Connecticut outside New York City, so I'm not going to say the one that's obviously on the wall. So I'm going to just say a thing from like my broad high school years in general, and I'm going to say it would be really cool to see a show around fans rallying around the New Orleans Saints Super Bowl run in the years following Katrina. I think there's something cool about resiliency of a city and a fan base who went through so much strife, who had to watch their team play multiple seasons in like stadiums in different parts of the country on temporary basis, and being able to like rally around that unifying stereotypical power of sports for this run at a championship. It feels like it has all of those sappy early 2000s Dennis Quaid sports Disney movie tropes right into it, and I think there could be something there that didn't happen at my high school.
I don't particularly remember that, which is surprising.
Yeah, Max, we did not coordinate this because I also had an answer sort of like this of there was a high school in Hawaii that basically their entire high school was affected by the fires that happened in Hawaii last year. And they went on to win the Hawaiian state championship for football, despite basically losing everything. And the idea of a lot of their teachers, coaches, stuff like that were helping with the fires and then helping to rise up the community as a whole. So like, yeah, it's not a personal experience. I could sure talk about hurricanes and all that sort of stuff in Florida. No, I could, but in all honesty, I think that one of the things that I think Derry Girls does such a good job of is speaking to an event that affects more so a local community than the world as a whole. So think about those events and like TV producers, because I have a feeling there's one who gets their ideas from us. If you're listening, please, first of all, we'd love to talk to you, just like one-on-one. But secondly, look to local communities as well.
Yeah, I think the one about an 18-year-old Rich just happening to see Barack Obama get elected president really has legs.
Hey, he's from Chicago. It was a big deal.
Well, we will talk once again about how to submit those in-flight questions, but let's talk a little bit more about the history of this show. So, Derry Girls has 3 seasons and 19 episodes. And you might be like, wow, that's very few. But this is a UK-based show, so they don't do a ton of episodes for...
Yeah, that's putting up Big Bang Theory numbers for British TV.
Yeah. As far as this show, like a lot of people have become familiar with the show because of Netflix picking it up. And it has done numbers in the US. But this show didn't originally debut on Channel 4. And because of that, I was able to get data on how this show did. This show has one of the distinct honors of being a show that increased its viewership every season it had.
Oh, cool.
Which is really, really cool. So the first season, it averaged 2.84 million viewers. Second season, 3.1. And then the third season, 3.17. It topped off at about 4 million viewers for a single episode. To give you a little bit of context, because this is where it gets absolutely insane. I want to look at other Channel 4 TV shows to get an idea of like how poorly or how great they did. Taskmaster, a TV Pilot's License alum that was also on Channel 4 / Dave, only had 516,000 people tune in to the premiere of that show. So this show did numbers. It was ranked number 4 in all of the UK for the first 2 seasons.
To be fair,
show.
Taskmaster sounds like it's going to be like a C-SPAN type TV show about accountants. On the surface.
As far as some other things that happened, Erin's diary was not just a book report for Orla. It was turned into a mass-produced book that was sold around the world. So you can purchase Erin's diary if you would like to. That's cool. And this is also just like a small plug from me. The Great British Bake Off will take the cast of a TV show and have them compete in the New Year's Day special on Great British Bake Off. They had the Derry Girls do it. It is on Netflix. It is delightful. They do everything from trifle to tiered cakes, and nothing goes well. Let's talk about awards. There were 25 nominations for this show, which led to 12 wins, and those spanned across everything from GLAAD Awards to British Academy Television Awards, as well as an International Emmy win. And
did they win any surfboards?
Give me those BAFTAs, baby. I want those BAFTAs.
There were no surfboards. There were, I think there was a like Critics' Choice Award, but that is That's as close as we got to the People's Choice Award.
If Cameron Diaz isn't handing it out, I don't want it.
But that's the history of this show for now, right? The last season was in 2022, and that is where we find ourselves, just, with the show neatly ended, supposedly. But that now leads us to Rich's game of the week.
Game of the week. All right, I have brought to you both a little bit of Northern Irish trivia. Forget that Southern part. Forget everything you've ever learned about Southern Ireland. Okay.
Oh my God.
Both of you guys can chime in on both of these. What famous entity was built? Oh, I'm sorry, no. What famous historic ill-fated ship was made in Northern Ireland? A, the Lusitania. B, the Endurance. C, the Titanic. D, the Edmund Fitzgerald.
I'm going Titanic, baby.
I think Max is right, but just for the fun of it, I'm going to go the Edmund Fitzgerald, because that's a fun name.
It is the Titanic, and unfortunately, the Edmund Fitzgerald was sunk in Lake Erie, I think. So
great.
That one's
I wasn't even
off.
close.
Got a really cool song about it, though.
Yeah, I was going to say, shout out to Gordon Lightfoot. Come on the pod.
Gordo. All right. Northern Irish rock legend Van Morrison, now an old man with a difficult legacy about vaccinations, broke off on his own for a solo career spanning almost 60 years, was originally part of this Belfast-based band. A, Stiff Little Fingers. B, Them. C, The Undertones. D, The Outcasts.
I'm going to say The Undertones. Let's go with C again.
Yeah, I'm going to go with The Outcasts. Why not? Go with D again. It's got to be right at least
Them.
once.
Them was a band that was very popular for about, I think, including after Jim Morrison. I'm sorry, not Jim Morrison. Van Morrison left. And he was with them, and he wrote the song Gloria with them. So the Gloria is not...
He's on first.
All right, one more, and shocking, this is going to be open-ended. No multiple choice. Get your brains ready. We have covered one leading TV actor before this episode from Northern Ireland. Can you name them and their show?
Oh, jeez.
Dear God. We haven't done Liam Neeson, so
Adrian Grenier from Entourage.
Wait. Is it Kenneth Branagh?
Yes.
Oh.
And,
fuck yeah, let's go.
What was the show?
Entourage.
Oh God. Oh God.
Yes, it was Kenneth Branagh and Wallander.
Yeah. Not young Wallander. Not to be confused with young Wallander.
Not young Wallander.
Well, Rich, thank you for your game of the week. And as our flight comes to a land, I have two questions for you. And one is, based off of this pilot, would you continue watching Derry Girls? It doesn't sound like that big of a lift, right? Only 18 episodes. The TV shows last anywhere from 22 to 45 minutes. That's like maybe 6 hours of TV.
I'll be done by tomorrow.
Yeah. And then the other question is, Derry Girls, it appears that chapter is closed, right? The troubles in Ireland did
They're Derry
end.
women now.
The girls do graduate from their school. I'm more curious, do you think we need more TV like this, or a show like this that might revolve around the life and high school experience of someone, while also there are world events going on around said things? Rich, I'm going to kick it off to you to kick us off.
I think we're definitely going to always have the high school experience shows, like Pen 15, Never Have I Ever, that kind of stuff around. I personally just want to see, like I said before, more depictions of people living humanely in war or occupied zones, just so we can like collectively all fucking chill and and maybe stop treating them like animals. I feel like that would be pretty cool, either animals or like, you know, people that deserve pity or whatever. And yeah, I feel like that would really be lovely. I think if they decide to end a show at 19 episodes, they did it for a reason. So I'm going, don't make any more of them.
Max, what about you?
I'm totally going to continue watching this. I laughed so hard. I had so much fun. I'm excited to watch the last remaining 18 episodes of this. As to your question of shows that take place with strife and conflict behind them, yeah, to Rich's point, and I think to Lisa McGee's point in writing this, you want to show joy in difficult situations. You want to show that these people have stories and lives and hopes and aspirations and things that bring them happiness, and it's not just, you know, destruction and pity and sorrow around them. So I hope there's more of that. I also found out that Lisa McGee has a new show that got a 8-episode order at Netflix called How to Get to Heaven from Belfast. That's gonna be her Derry Girls follow-up that just recently got greenlit by Netflix.
Let's fucking go.
So I'm also going to check that out because I have a whole lot more of her that I want to see, even just for watching this pilot.
Same. Yeah, and from myself, I'm going to start rewatching this show because I've seen every single episode. This is one of those shows that just is so delightful and pure, with tons of good jokes and tons of good messaging behind it, that it's important to, like, I hate to say it's important to watch a show for you, but like it's a good show to watch and feel like good about watching, if that makes sense. Because there's a lot of just like fodder for fodder, and sometimes it's nice to have a show that has a message behind it.
The TV Pilot's License boys want jokes per minute. Give it to us. We want jokes per minute.
But as far as this different versions of this show going on, I'm really excited for How to Get Into Heaven from Belfast. I think that is going to be fantastic, hopefully.
Totally.
And I think that there are enough, unfortunately, there are enough tragedies that this world has experienced that we could potentially very easily come up with a different TV show or a different angle of life through a specific era of sorts. So, like, if it's done well, I'm all ears. If it's done like shit, please keep it out of my TV. But that is our episode of TV Pilot's License. But before we go, I want to make sure that you boys can let people know where they can find you. Rich, where can folks find you?
9/11. Wait, hold on. Wait, hold on. All right. You can find me handing you a lighter because I don't smoke. I just like melting stuff. And you can also find me on Instagram at Damn That's Rich. You can find original sketch comedy from Max and myself at Dadwagon Comedy on both TikTok and Instagram.
Max?
I'll tell you where you won't find me is hanging out with that Macaulay Culkin boy from school. Where you will find me is on all things social media at Maxwell Singh.
And you can find me trying to understand the law and politics of pick and mixes, but you can also find me on social media at Run Jeff Run. You can find the TV Pilot's License anywhere you listen to podcasts, as well as YouTube and social media at TV Pilot's License. Make sure to like and subscribe. It really helps us out a ton. And make sure to let your friends know, especially if they like TV, to come and hear our dumb voices talk about shows that we like or just despise. If you have a question for the show or maybe an in-flight question, you can give us a call at 213-290-1713 or shoot us an email at tvpilotslicense@gmail.com. Make sure to watch out for some sneak previews of some of the stuff that we have coming up. But with the plane landed and the seatbelt sign off, we look forward to flying the bright skies of the TV world with you again soon. And until then, welcome to Derry.